Well, welcome to my first tutorial style video. Let's see how this goes. Okay, Hurricane Ian just passed through the area, and for all those who were definitely impacted by Ian, my prayers go out to you. So anyway, getting ready to put the generator away. Hopefully don't have to drag it out again this season, and need to drain the fuel out of it. The instructions for the RP5500 is to remove this bolt from the carburetor bowl and drain the fuel from there. Well, as you can tell from where it's located, that is a pain. So here's my take on draining the fuel. You're going to have to remove the air cleaner assembly from the carburetor. First off, there's two hoses. This one hose here, which does have a clamp, and there's the crankcase breather hose at the top, and there's no clamp on that. Just hold on to it firmly as you pull away the housing, and that'll come off of there. So like with changing the air filter, you have to take off the front, and let me reposition the camera here. I'm sorry folks, it's the first time doing this sort of thing, so kind of winging it. Remove the cover from the air cleaner, and I've done some of the steps already here for expediency. When you take the cover off and you remove the air filter, again, apologies for the lovely camera work. You can see that little plate right there. It's just held on by a couple of tabs and comes right off. You'll then find a nut on the inside here that has to be removed, 10 millimeter. The other nut is on the outside of the housing. At the very bottom on the back side, conveniently, there's a 10 millimeter nut, or bolt rather, excuse me, that has to be removed from bracket that is at the bottom. Once you get them off, and that's where that bolt goes in, you then have access to the carburetor and the fuel line. And excuse me. Okay. You then have the fuel line coming from the on-off valve, and it has a spring clamp on it as well. Slide that spring clamp up the tubing, and my generator is now 3 years old, and this is the first time it's been removed, so I had to do a little bit of twisting on the tubing to get it to break free from the fitting. Now the nice thing with doing it this way, and with the 2-gallon cans that I have, it sits right there underneath the camera, or the tubing. Gently pull the tubing off. It'll sit right inside the edge of the can, and you can hold it there a little bit away from it, but then turn the fuel valve on and the fuel starts to flow. Nice part about doing it this way, you have the on-off valve to stop the flow, especially in the case like I have currently. I've got 4 gallons in here. Doing it under the bowl way that they recommend, it's a real hassle. Doing it this way, all you have to do is remove 2 nuts, a bolt, disconnect 3 pieces of tubing, and you're set for getting the fuel out of your generator. Once you've drained the fuel, reconnect the hose line, put the clamp back in place, put your air cleaner back in place, connect the tubing on the back side of the air cleaner, then you can start it up, and that'll drain out the fuel that's remaining in the carburetor. If you want to be doubly sure that you've gotten all the fuel out, then take that drain out of the bowl just to make sure you've got the last of the fuel out of the bowl so that doesn't gum up during storage. One thing the manual does recommend is to use fuel stabilizer, and I admit I messed up after hurricane season 2 years ago, and I stuffed this thing away with about 2 gallons of gas in it, and it sat there for 2 years. I pulled it out for Ian, got it into position, turned it on, pulled the starter cord, and it started right up. Boy, was I happy. This time I'm not going to do it. I'm going to actually drain the fuel and do it all the way it's supposed to be done. But anyway, this is my take on draining the fuel. A lot easier in my opinion, and the biggest plus is you have the on-off valve to control the flow of your fuel. Good luck to you with you and your generator, and again, all the people affected by the hurricane, my prayers go out to you.